Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Collective Podcast number 29. I'm your host with the most.
You don't know your name?
TheWeezus, aka Wheezy. With me, as always, is Queen Erlynbebe.
Hello. Ooh, my eyes itchy.
Ugh.
Oh, I know, right?
I've heard.
And I wash my face and everything.
Yeah. I've heard you've been playing a little bit more Horizon. How that's going?
Terrible. I'm upset. I found some information out and I'm very disappointed in it.
Oh no, let's hear it.
So Trey, he played the game, he's already beaten it. It's not like really a hint. He was just like basically saying like obviously there's gonna be an end boss. But apparently I'm gonna hate the end boss if I already hate that one cauldron that I got stuck on, considering that there's two more that I still have to do, and he said that in the other two, since they're technically considered like mini bosses, not like bosses, it's just like it's a dungeon, so like that's, the boss for the end of the dungeon. It's whatever. But he's like, yeah, you're probably gonna hate them probably more than the one that you just met. And I hated the one I met because it's considered like a super boss because like it's Apex, so it's basically like steroids. Like like World of Warcraft, like you would go and fight like the Lich King. It's like the Lich King, but like on steroids. So he's extra strong and a lot harder to kill. So he takes a lot more hits, and you have to crit him a lot more with damage. But you're by yourself, like no team, just you. So apparently that's what I'd have to deal with in the other two dungeons, plus the end boss. And I'm very upset because I'm gonna waste so much stuff. And I didn't grind enough to like get so I have to do that off stream. I have to grind to upgrade my pouches and yeah.
Oh no, you weren't doing stuff as you went along?
I was, but the thing was like, that's why the streams were going on a lot longer than like just extra, like just doing the story stuff, was that I was going around playing like the way I normally do. And I was like, a lot of this stuff could be done off stream, especially considering you're doing a lot of back and forth. Like regardless of like the mount and fast traveling, like it's an RPG. You're going to go from one place to another, you know what I mean? So it's like, I could do it on stream, but like it's just like a lot of it. And I was like, I'd rather do at least half of it I could do on stream, but like the other half, but like the more strenuous, like really menial shit, I could do offline. I know how to do it on stream, But I'm just upset because like it was so hard to kill this stupid snake. And now I found out that I have 3 people that are going to be hard to kill. And if that guy was tough for me, it's going to be horrendous to deal with at the end. I want to die.
Oh no.
Yeah. I don't know, I kind of want to just drop the game and like not go back to it. I don't want to deal with it. If I don't have to, I don't want to.
That's a strategy. Just pick up a new game and then forget about Horizon.
Literally. Julia frickin' was like, oh, why don't you try freaking Elden Ring? She was like, I thought you wanted to get it. I was like, yeah, but then I saw people playing it. And then I heard how a lot of the boss fights went. And I decided, no. So I'm not going to. Because if I can't handle a normal boss in a very normal game, I doubt I'm going to survive even an hour in Elden Ring, which From Software is known to just make the most ridiculous of ridiculous, fights. Like if you want to struggle and you want to be upset and you want to rage at a game, that's a great game to do it to. So probably great for therapy, not great for casual.
Damn.
I know. I don't even know what I'm going to play after, so I'm like trying to space it out as much as I can because I'm like, I don't have anything to play after frickin' Horizon.
I have heard that Elden Ring is very good.
Supposedly it is, but like, I am not a glutton for punishment, so. I don't like hard. Like, I don't mind if it's hard. Like, the snake was hard. I get it. It was supposed to be. Like, that's the whole point. It's Apex. Got it. Whatever. It's stupid. It's hard for a reason. But, like, that game isn't, like, just, oh, we made this boss super extra hard just for this one thing. It's like, no, everyone, including the mobs and ads, are gonna be hard. You could literally just be standing still and out of nowhere you could get murked just for standing still in that game. I could not. And then, like, you could lose your stuff. No, I'm sorry, no. I'm not gonna sit there and, like, have played, if, let's say that happened, and I played 2 hours, I got really far, I had a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, alright, let me go and find, I don't know, like, the little campfire or whatever, so that way I could go save and, like, have everything, and then I just die to, like, a mob, and I lose all my stuff. I'd be pissed. I would never come out to the game. I would delete it. I'd be like, nope, I want a refund, I don't know how I'm gonna get one, but I want one. Give it to me. 2 hours gone just because I died to a mob. And I've seen that happen because I watch people play their other games. I was like, no, I'm sorry. That's no, I'm good. I'm good.
Damn. Is there any other games that you were considering, like, picking up or getting into soon?
Well, Bean, maybe Bean already watched it. I don't know, she probably did, but Martha is Dead. She said that she wanted to watch that, and I told her, I was like, oh, that actually looked really interesting. And I looked it up, and it's like a walking sim. Not actually, but, like, technically, it's like, you don't have to, it's not like Outlast where you're running and you could die, from what I understand at least. So, like, it's still, like, considered a horror game, but, like, more psychological. So it's like that type where you're just there for, like, the story and the ambiance and, like, the suspense and all that stuff, but, like, you don't have to worry about, like, some giant man coming to mush your face in or whatever. So I have that one, and then I thought of 12 Minutes, because I heard that one was, like, pretty short and sweet, and I was like, after finishing a game like Horizon, and, like, just, like, I went from Dying Light to Horizon, I figured something short and sweet would be good, so I was like, 12 Minutes probably would be good. I don't know. But I don't have anything, like, actually, I don't know what else to, like, actually go for, so I was just looking. I have a bunch of games in my Steam library, but I'm like, most of these are more so, like, games that I played off stream just because of, like, the type of game it is. Like, I could tell it's not entirely gonna be fun to watch. Like, even if you're just there to hang out with me, it's still just like, what's gonna be on screen might not be super entertaining for everyone because it's a little niche. So
yeah,
I was like, I don't know what I could play. So I only have those two. I was gonna just wait it out, see if something comes out. Yeah.
Have you heard about the stuff that's going down with Twitch, speaking of streaming?
No. I've, with everything that was happening, I haven't had a chance to, like, really, like, be in the know of everything. Yeah. The only thing I am aware of, and it kept popping up, so I decided to, like, get into it, was the Johnny Depp thing, which I know you said you might want to, like, touch on, so.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know too much, but, like, because it just started popping up.
What do you know as of right now?
Bits and pieces. What I do know, and I feel so bad for those lawyers, because they're probably not actually bad lawyers. They just have, like, a bad client to work with, because she doesn't have anything to work with against, the case, really, like, at all, if anything. Everything's just against her. So, I know the lawyers are shit, or at least they're shit because, the evidence that they have. I know that Johnny's team and him, they have a ton of evidence proving basically everything that he's been saying, which is great for him. I'm really happy for him. Sucks that he has PTSD now and trauma, but a lot better that's being known and whatnot. She's also probably definitely not going to get hired anymore, so she's probably, like, blacklisted. Johnny Depp's probably not going to sign back on with Pirates or, like, Disney.
I thought that was,
and, like, little bits and pieces. Yeah, well, I know, like, no, they said they're going to make another one, just that Depp wouldn't be in it. I don't know if, like, that's still true, but that's what Disney said.
Yeah, but I thought that was, like, pre this whole drama. Like, when they made the last Pirates movie was when Johnny Depp was like, alright, I'm done. The Pirates thing is getting stretched out.
That's probably what he said. I just also know at the same time, because of how he was acting on set, which they brought up in the trial, They were also just like, you're becoming a little bit too much. And then with the allegations at the time, like 2016 or whatever, it wasn't a great look for Dizzy to be connected to him, and he understood that or whatever. So like, it was kind of like technically a mutual thing, but like also like Dizzy was like, sorry, we like you, we love you, but you know, we got a image.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So like I said, bits and pieces, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure I know the basics at minimum, I want to say. Yeah. I could be wrong.
I haven't sat down and watched the hours and hours and hours of, of footage of like other lawyers talking to other lawyers or witnesses or blah blah blah. I've just seen Johnny Depp just like working with this lawyer that just keeps contradicting himself, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? This guy is clearly unprepared for anything that's going on right now. Either there is no evidence, or the evidence that she does have is very bad.
No, it's that. It's like from the clips that I was watching, it's literally just he said, she said kind of situation, and you know, obviously, like
usually goes.
Well, no, but I meant like with her side of the story and like how everything started. It very much was just because, you know, it's domestic abuse, it's domestic violence. People do tend to side with the women on the end because women do tend to deal with it. At least I believe. I could be wrong. I'm okay being wrong. Statistically, women tend to deal with it way more than men do. Not that men still can't, just it's a normal thing, unfortunately, for it to be like a woman thing. So like her evidence is really just that, like, oh, he did this to me, and I have police reports, and I have phone calls, and I have text messages, and you can see that he's being controlling, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, but then his team is able to prove them wrong, because the one good side of police officers having a body cam is that they could use that cam as evidence and like use that footage to disprove, like, hey, when she called on this day for such and such reason, this is what actually happened. We have the reports, so you can't say that the people lied or fibbed it, or that they were on his side. And you can't say that the officer that's here to like testify against this is wrong in any way, because now we have footage of it as well. So it's like, they really are like struggling to pull whatever they fought. I remember seeing the video. I think it was like 30 minutes. It was like 30 minutes of this, the female lawyer for Amber, I forgot what her name is, talking about fucking muffins because they don't have anything, all to just try and prove that, I think she was a psychotherapist or something like that, like she's you know, she did psychology and stuff like that, to try and say like, hey, aren't you only here because you had dinner with Johnny Depp and you guys had drinks and you were at his house for 3 to 4 hours? And she was like, well, yes, but that's not quite right. I was there with him and his team. Dinner was served and drinks were probably also served. I don't remember. It's been a while since then. It's been like a couple of years or whatever. So I'm just like, bro, what the frick? And then she tried to like get her on like the muffin thing, was like, didn't you try and like bribe Amber or something like that with the muffins that your husband decided to bring? Not your husband, that you decided to bring. And she was like, no, I usually bring muffins with me in my meetings. I'm usually pretty late, so I asked my husband to go and pick up the muffins for me, and he dropped it off at the office, which then we both ate the muffins. And they were on this whole entire muffin thing, trying to see if like it was the therapist's way of like, you know, getting on Amber's good side or whatever, or like to try and get her to spill the beans to like, you know, help Johnny Depp on his thing or whatever. And I was like, bro, move on.
Yeah.
Who cares about the muffins? You can look it up. It's ridiculous how long it goes on. It's so...
Yeah, there's a lot of like irrelevant stuff that's being brought up. I mean, one of the biggest pieces of evidence that they have, which really is still kind of irrelevant, it's like the fact that Johnny Depp is like an alcoholic drug addict, and I saw that. They were like trying to get him to admit that he was like using cocaine or buying cocaine or drinking like during the day, and he was just like, yeah, and what does this have to do with anything?
Oh god.
You try being a movie star and not doing drugs or drinking all the time. Like, this shit is stressful.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely say, like, not the best way to go about responding it, but also, if you consider what we're here in court for, it would make sense that the man would be drinking and probably doing drugs because most people tend to find some kind of vice to deal with the trauma that they're dealing with at the moment.
Yeah.
So him drinking a shit ton kind of feels like a pretty normal reaction. I'm not saying it's okay, but even with him drinking, he still didn't do shit. And you guys know that. That's why you guys are trying to, like, use it as a way to, like, disprove, like, oh, he's not actually nice the way he says he is. He drinks. He's on drugs. He for sure is very controlling. He's, like, very mean to her. It's like, I mean, mean with words.
I know plenty of people that drink and do drugs, and they're fine people.
Yeah, like nothing. Like, the guy is still nice, high, drunk. He doesn't care. He just wants to be left alone. He's like, you know what I mean? Like,
he's like, I want my wife to not shit in the bed.
Yeah, that was so disgusting. When I found that out, I was like, ew. You're kidding me. Stop. That's disgusting. Oh my god. What is wrong with you? That is also your bed. Do you not also
I know.
sleep in there? Like, you're that comfortable like, ew? I don't know. It's just, ugh.
He said that she tried to blame it on the dogs, and then he was like, how do you know it wasn't the dogs, Mr. Depp? And he was like, dude, the shit was the size of the dogs. Are you kidding me? Just
yeah.
You can look. There's pictures in there. Look at it. Does that look like a dog shit to you?
Oh god, seriously, it's like, you can tell. Like, no dog is able to come up with that kind of poop. I promise you. Like, it's really, really hard to do that.
Yeah.
But, like, I never understand people that do that. Like, there are so many stories of, like, you know, like, people shitting in, like, somebody's bed or whatever, and I'm like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you consciously made this decision to get up on the bed, or, like, maybe you shat in the toilet and you picked it up, like, with, I don't know, like a baggie or something, and dropped it on the bed. But it's just like, you made that conscious decision to do that, and not once in your mind did it ever cross, I guess, that this is gross and maybe wrong, but mostly gross. Especially, like, with her in that situation, like, it's your bed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying, like, I think I have to sit there for, like, a good while. But, like, it's still fecal matter. Like, there's still bacteria on there. It's gonna seep through the blankets because poop is somewhat wet. Because, you know, it's coming out of the body. It can't come out just dry. Like, that's terrible. It'd be very painful. So it's, like, it's still, like, it's got like, mucus on it or whatever. Like, just because it sat on top of a sheet doesn't mean it still didn't leak through to the bottom onto the mattress. And now you got fecal matter just sitting in your mattress. And you gotta sleep on that. It's disgusting. What's wrong with you? Why? Just why? Why?
I'm not sure.
You're that upset? That's how upset you were that you decided to shit on someone's bed? Your bed?
Now, she did present a video of, like, she, like, secretly set up this camera, like, at a kitchen table somewhere, and I guess it was obviously Johnny in the video. And he was, like, in his kitchen, and he was, like, slamming cabinets. He was, like, very pissed off, like, you could tell in the video.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
He was, like, slamming cabinets, and he was, like, throwing shit. And, and she's just, like, she's saying stuff to him, and he's just like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And then you just see him grab a bottle of wine and pour this tall-ass glass of wine.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw, like, it was like a, you know, like a small 10-second clip of it.
It was...
Bro.
And then he found the camera, and he was like, oh, yeah? You're going to film me, huh? And then he throws the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the lawyer was like, and you poured yourself a mega pint of wine.
Yeah.
And I was like, a mega what the, he even said it too, he's like, a mega pint. I was like, what the heck is a mega? What's a mega? Isn't that, like, I don't know, at that point, isn't like a gallon or like a tub? Yeah. A mega pint?
He was using really weird terminology, like, for, like, that entire clip. Like, he kept calling him, like a southern man or whatever he was calling him.
A southern man.
And it's like, excuse me, sir, can you define that? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, can you define exactly
When have I ever been a Southern man? I've lived in California for the last 40 years of my life.
I mean, if you want to count South California as
he was born in
South,
Kentucky. That's about it.
That's okay. Technically, you could say that's like the South, but at best, it's like not entirely center, but like I don't feel like it's entirely South either. Like if you were like, oh hey, you're from like freaking Texas, that's South. I 100% be like, yeah, that's the South. You could definitely say that. But Kentucky, I'm sorry, that's too close to like everything else to be considered South to me. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like maybe, Kansas. Kansas feels like it's very South to me. I don't know. That could just be me being very biased on like that.
Never been to Kansas.
Yeah, anytime I've seen anything about Kansas, it's always very southern. Anytime I see anything about Kentucky, it's not like super, like it's like split. Like you have like that south, I guess, Kentucky, and then you just have like Kentucky, and it's very split. So that's why I can't consider it 100% southern the way I could with like Kansas or something.
Yeah, Kansas.
But again, I could be wrong. I don't live there.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. But like that's the thing. Like it splits there. You got Oklahoma, which is like still like it's not southern at all. Like it's, at least to me, because I've been to Oklahoma, like it doesn't feel like that, but I only visited family. I didn't live there, so, like I said, pretty biased on like the how it works, because I've only visited those places. I haven't exactly like lived there, so.
I haven't been that far. Well, I flew out to San Diego, but that's as west as I've ever gone.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's as far west as I've ever gone. Well, at the time, that's as far west as I've ever gone.
Now, yeah. Driving-wise, I think I went... Actually, I haven't even gone... I gone a little bit into West Virginia and...
Oh.
Maybe Charlotte, North Carolina? Or not North, South Carolina. Wait, is it North or South?
Both.
Yeah, I think it's in both. Anyway, I've been to Charlotte.
Oh, I thought you were asking if there was a North and South Carolina. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's both.
No, I was asking where the city of Charlotte was. I think it's in
I'm pretty sure. I know it's at least history. I believe it's a little bit more modern at the time, so like it could still be definitely higher up.
Yeah, well, needless to say, I haven't gone that far west.
Yeah.
But, like, if you, like, look at a map, like, a lot of these, like, places that are considered southern, like, Missouri, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky. It's just like, well, it's about as north or as south as, like, Virginia or Iowa.
That's true.
Shit like that.
But I mean,
I don't know. When I think of South, I think Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi.
Yeah. You think like the normal, like, I mean, granted,
the
obviously,
Bible Belt.
Yeah, like you unfortunately, obviously because of media too, like you definitely think of the states that you constantly hear about. And I see where Mississippi sits, and I'm like, it doesn't feel like that South, but I can understand like for the time frame of like, when Mississippi was like made, that could technically be considered south of like New York, I guess. So like, I don't know, but
it's where Tom Sawyer's from.
Yeah, I never read that book. Well, his books.
I read it in school like once.
You did? How was it?
There's a couple of N-bombs, which surprised me. I was like, why are we reading this in school? What the fuck?
Oh, because of how it was written?
Yeah. I mean, it takes place in Mississippi in the 1800s, so yeah.
I feel like I want to read it, but I'm like, I'm probably never going to read it.
They have PG versions of the story. But like the book, in the actual book, there's the N-word in the book. I was surprised.
Why?
Because it's part of the story. Like they're like,
no, that's what I was saying. Like what? Like they were
referring to somebody
using it.
Yeah, they were just using it like casually.
I thought you were just surprised because it was still written. Not that it was like.
I wasn't surprised that it was in the book.
I mean, the time that it came out, that was pretty normal to.
Well, yeah. Looking back now, I understand, but like, I'm like 13, 12. Why are we reading this? Why are you showing us this?
What is the significance in this, sir? I don't know.
They're like, oh, it's literature. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I can say, like, like when they do like the book bans and all that, I can definitely say and sit there and be like, you know what? Not that I agree that you should be banning a book, but I could definitely agree that to some extent some books don't entirely have a relevance to like really like give us a perspective on like a time period in history. Yeah. I'm not saying like that book didn't, because obviously it is very relevant. It takes place in a in a time frame and at a certain time where like things were not at all good at, you know what I mean? But like, and I'm saying this just me mean because I'm sick and tired of him. But I'm pretty sure I don't need to learn about Shakespeare no more. Okay? Especially Romeo and Juliet. Can we just get rid of them? Because no offense, what does a 30-year-old and a 14-year-old have in common? Really? Like, really? Like, I get that you tried to make it cuter nowadays, but I promise you the original script is not that great. It's not very relevant. It teaches us nothing. If anything, Hamlet's better. Okay? We could still teach that, I guess. Sure. Whatever. But Shakespeare? Please pick better ones. I don't know. Just, we can nitpick here.
Yeah, I was not a fan of Shakespeare.
I want them to. He's, like I said, he has a couple books that are like, good, I guess. But I don't know, like, just most of them aren't, great to me, obviously, just, I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate having to, like, write essays on them. Like, how do you feel about this? It's like, I don't know. Like, yeah. You're asking me to write about this when, like, literally there have been a billion college students at this point who have written about this way better than I possibly could. And you're asking me as a high schooler to write about it as if I have any business writing about Shakespeare and regular English Brit-Lit.
Brit-Lit.
Well, British literature, but people called it Brit-Lit. Stupid.
Yeah. I mean, we read stuff like To Kill a Mockingbird and The Great Gatsby and Of Mice and Men and shit like that.
Oh my god, all these bring back memories that I hate. I hated all those books. Like, they were interesting, but I just hate, like, Of Mice and Men. Wanted to kill myself. I don't know. It felt very drawn out. Maybe it's because of how much my teacher liked the book, but I hated it. The Great Gatsby, I also hated reading because she was super into the freaking sign and what, like, certain scenes meant to, like, Gatsby, or, like, to, the friend who was, telling it from his perspective and whatnot. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't know why the giant moon sign, or whatever the heck it was, is sitting where it's sitting, and why it's able to look down on everyone as if it's a metaphor for God, but I highly doubt that. But if you want to make it about that, it could be about God. I don't see it as, as God. I see it as a very misplaced billboard, but, if that makes you feel better, we could write about that, sure. Freaking, I don't know, all of them, yeah. Or, like, the time where, like, what's-her-face was, like, throwing the clothes, like, everywhere around Gatsby, and he was just super happy to, like, be watching her and, like, enjoying her, like, having that moment or whatever. Or, like, the freaking scene where, like, they were, I don't know why, rich people were so fucking weird, especially in that time, why they decided to go to a hotel just to drink alcohol and have the windows open, and, like, one of them was, like, chipping at the ice or something like that, and, like, that was apparently a really significant scene for me to have to write a 4 paragraphs on. They pick the weirdest stuff to write stuff on. I don't
know.
I would rather much have suffered, what is it? Eine? What's her name? I forgot what the writer's name is. I have the book somewhere. I forgot what it was, but, there was a different there are like 2 other series that I much preferred because I hadn't read them. One of them being Fahrenheit 456 or whatever it was. Was it 456? What was it? I'm not thinking it's a different number. I don't remember. Ayn Rand, that's her name. I liked her book that we read. Anthem. Anthem was
451.
Yeah, 451. I don't know why I said 456. But Anthem. Anthem was a really great book. And then we did start The Fountainhead. We never really finished it, which I'm okay because the book was pretty fat. But Anthem was a great book to read. And I much preferred reading books that I never really learned about or had heard of and writing stuff on that than, you know, Shakespeare and The Great Gatsby, which everyone reads and everyone knows. And no offense to Animal Farm, but like,
I love Animal Farm.
I just didn't understand why I'm reading Animal Farm in English class. Like, I know why because of the writing, but like context, plot, you know, like the historic figures that are in it, obviously, like, you know, the parody and like, you know, making fun of them to an extent with using animals to represent them. I guess to an extent, yes, like I said, could be used for English, but it felt more like a book that my history teacher should have given us to like see how much we actually understand and how much we can parallel like what actually happened and the way they acted to their actual human counterparts or whatever, because it's a history story.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. To me, I was like, why am I reading this here?
Which I never made that connection until after. They were like, you know what this book is about, right? I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I was just enjoying the story. I didn't even think of it like that. Holy fuck.
As soon as I saw Napoleon's name, I was like, I freaking know what this is about already. I'm like, I first read the book when I was 12 or whatever. I didn't know exactly everything, but I just knew a lot of the names that were in the book. So I was like, this ruined it for me. It's about history. I don't want to read it anymore. And that's why I was like, it feels like a book for a history class than like an English class. But again, it's great for technically both. They did it really well. I don't know how they were able to write it in a way that technically, yes, like middle schoolers and high schoolers could read it and still grasp at least the concept of what's happening. Not necessarily like, you know, it has to be like the whole entire story, but like the concept, you grasp it. I was like, they did it really well. Like, very surprised because I was like, I still got some of it when I was 12. I didn't learn anything of it, but I got some of it. Obviously, in high school, we read it again. So, like, I need more context and all that. So I was like, wow.
You ever read Lord of the Flies?
Oh, yeah. We even watched the movie. I hated my teacher asked me to, like, write stuff on that, too, because she was like, what did you think about the boys splitting up and, like, how that boy died? And, you know, you guys are going to be so shocked when you find out this twist or whatever. And I was like, bro, they're freaking 12-year-olds, okay, going through puberty just about. Okay, they're on a stranded island. They don't know how to lead in any capacity. They're 12, all right? Like, it doesn't have to be that deep. I know you want to make it that deep, but, like, really, let's be serious. How many times do you not see boys, I'm not saying it's just boys, but, like, in this case, it's just boys, not try to fight each other, especially when they're hungry?
Yeah.
You like recess, I can promise you I remember every recess at least at some point, either after or before eating, they were psychopaths. 1, because they finally had energy, and 2, before they even had energy, they were already cranky. So at this point, I mean, come on.
Hands were thrown.
The murder part, though, I can agree. Very serious. Was not expecting that kind of thing to happen. That was a twist that I was like, oh, they wouldn't go that far. Like, maybe they might write that a kid fell off a cliff or something. But no, it was 100% like Planet of the Apes, just like out of nowhere murder. And it was like, okay. Hey, we jumped over that line. You just walk across. We jumped. Got it. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I like the book's writing than like the movie's version of those scenes. I didn't really like how I don't know. The movie didn't do it for me. It didn't feel the same as when I read it. But I'm also a book person, so that sounds pretentious.
Nice. I read this one book that I thought was super interesting. It was about this, like, this like dystopian America, and everybody dressed the same, everybody looked the same. And then there was something about this guy that was like too strong for his own good, so they always kept putting weights on him to make him like seem weaker than everybody else. And apparently,
I thought for a second you were describing The Giver.
Maybe. I don't know what the
well,
name
no.
of...
Oh, no, finish, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it or what it was. I just remember that was the context of the book. But I at the time, I thought it was really cool, that book. Well,
you read it in high school or like
high school, I think,
for fun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, at first, the way you're describing, I was like, that sounds like The Giver. But I was like, yeah, no, it's not. That's not The Giver.
Oh, I never read for fun. I was not a reader.
Yeah, I feel bad for like people that say that, only because it's like even with my dad, any type of thing that's sold in a bookstore is considered a book. So a comic book is 100% a book. Doesn't matter that it has pictures. There's a difference between a picture book and then a comic book. There's still a very, like, you know, Batman's pretty good, you know, example for like just, you know, everyone who doesn't know the other characters. He's a great example of a really dark story still being told, even with pictures. Because I know people like to describe it like that. Like, bro's still got a story going, and it's not one that you'd want your kids to always read. I'm just saying. Like, just because he's on Cartoon Network doesn't mean that he's, you know, kid-friendly. But sometimes people just need to find, like, their niche. And, like, you know, comic books obviously do it for a lot of people. Also, like, if it comes to, like, just regular paragraph, like, you know, traditional story type books, sometimes it's just about finding, like I said, like, the genre. Because even in comic books, there's, you know, romance, and then you got superhero, then you got thriller, mystery, you got horror. You know, like, The Walking Dead is a comic book, and I didn't know that at first. I thought it was like a book. It's not a book, it's a comic book. So, you know, that was news to me, but I was like, hey, it works. At least they have a visual, and they can't mess up the scene. Because sometimes they mess up scenes whenever they adapt, you know, books into movies or TV shows. I'm like, that's not. Yeah, I'm like, that's not. Did you read the book? Because the way they described it and how it was built up, that's not how that scene should have went. But obviously, like, interpretation is up for everyone. But, like, when it's a clear-cut scene, you can't just free willy it. I'm sorry, you can't.
Just free willy it. You heard it here first. Did you ever, when you did, like, book reports in school, did you ever, like, get to pick your own book, or were you assigned a book?
So we had a list, and from that list, we could pick any of those books. If it was not on the list, we could not use it as a book report. And every year, I always picked Hatchet, and my essay kept getting more intricate and detailed, so I kept always getting A's on it. And, you know, because it was a summer book report, I didn't really have to worry about my teacher remembering that I wrote this for the last summer or the summer before that. So I kept using Hatchet, and I had a great bomb-ass essay that I was very proud of, and I wish I could find it again. Oh, bro, I got so into that book, I just kept using it. I was like, I'm not going to buy another book. I have Hatchet. I'm good.
No need for another book.
Yeah, like, just pull up my old, you know, Word document, and let me just rewrite and add some flair, you know, add an SAT word in here or something. I don't know, you know, 12 and I'm fancy.
I remember one time in school, I had to do this one book report.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? I found this book about this bear. Like, there was, it was basically a book about, like, these two brothers, and they're, like, driving somewhere, and then their car breaks down, and then they're, like, trying to, like, find shelter for the night. But then, or no. Yeah, they find this log cabin, and they stay in it. And then they realize, like, they're getting hunted by, like, a bear in the woods. And then it eventually, like, fast forward, the bear fucking kills them.
Jesus, oh my god.
Like, they both died of this bear. But then I realized, like, I read the entire book and I was like, holy shit. I was like, I have to write a book report on this. So then I bullshitted the book. I was like, I wrote the book report was about like what happened, and then I was like, the book is basically about how everything you do has a consequence, and every choice you make can like lead to something worse happening. Like I was saying stuff like, oh, the two guys did this when they could have done this. If they would have done this, they probably would have been better off. If they wouldn't have done this, they would have like I was bullshitting. I've never pulled so much shit out of my ass like to get a book report done, and it worked.
I can get that. I definitely can understand that. Maybe in high school I can understand that. Like I said, my book reports in middle school was just Hatchet, so that was my whole entire Hatchet. I know, I had regular book reports, like obviously throughout the year on like the books we were reading, but like if you mean like summer, yeah, it was just Hatchet, so I can't really like describe other ones. But like high school, I definitely know I did that, especially with the books that I was complaining about. I was like, I definitely I read them, I understood them. I even read them a second time just to make sure I knew what the heck I was talking about. Because I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. I don't need to know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You know what? Like, yeah. You gotta sound smart.
I know what I'm talking about. I don't need you to know what I'm talking about.
Like 100% bullshitting it. Just like you think you know blue? I know blue. Let me tell you how blue works. All right, this is how you make blue. All right, don't come to me and tell me. I already know. All right, this is how you make blue. Anyways, and that's what I would do for a lot of the books. And I'm like, because again, the stupid freaking sign in Gatsby. I don't know. I'm not the writer. I can't tell you why the writer decided to make it some weird metaphor that everyone took it as it's God watching them. Why would God be watching them specifically? Like, out of all the people in the world that he could be watching, he chose to watch this couple and like this whole entire situation. God has
more important things to do than watch them.
Like, I know a lot of people don't like me to, like, refer to that, and, like, that's okay. But, like, this is just how I see God. But, like, it's, like, this is his sim world. I'm pretty sure he's not just focusing on this one household the whole entire time.
Yeah.
Like, we've all played Sims to some extent. I am 100% not focusing on my house when I send somebody out. Like, I've made, like, a whole family. I'm watching each and every one of them at separate things, doing separate stuff, and having them do weird shit all the time. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not sitting there just watching like the kids play in one room and like not moving at all. I don't think God would be watching them, especially not through a billboard. That just feels weird to just, it's 100% him. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes you happy.
Yeah, they would always get like in depth, like, what did the author mean by this? It's like, I don't fucking know. I didn't write the book.
Literally. Or like, what did this green curtain mean to the character at the time? Bro, it was just because they said there was a green curtain doesn't mean the green curtain has to mean something unless it pops up again later in the book. And it doesn't. Like, I know the billboard comes up a lot, but it's still just like, if anything, it just made me feel like the main character, obviously, like, not Gatsby or, like, the girl he liked, had issues with, being seen. That's it. He's trying to attribute a freaking billboard of all goddamn things to being seen. This whole entire book, he's busy complaining about how Gatsby is a main character and, like, how he obviously would like to be a main character. That's it. Don't make it about God. Make it about the fact that this guy's insecure and he wants what Gatsby has, but he can't have what Gatsby has, and he realizes, oh, I don't want to be Gatsby by the end. It's like, okay, that's it. There you go. That's what I got from it. Not God.
Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to stories like that, the human element makes it more interesting than just like coming down to, oh yeah, there's a higher power involved the whole time. It's like, well, that's fucking boring. That's not interesting.
Like, if
the
it's
master
not,
of puppets, like, come on now.
Literally. It's like, if it's not like the life of Pi, which, is surrounded by, like, at least minimum spirituality, why are you bringing it in here? I'm sorry. Just, like,
yeah.
that's like asking me how, like, a god could be represented in the Jungle Book. I don't know, dude. Like, they're like, because God gave us fire, and the monkeys, they wanted fire. All right? Like,
yeah.
Whatever you say, bro. If that makes you happy, it makes you happy. But, like, don't make me write an essay on it, please.
Somehow that always cycles back whenever I talk to my pup about anything. Like, we could be talking about, like, the weather, and then somehow, some way, it cycles back to, like, religion, and he's just like, and that's why God is great, and he gets all emotional and choked up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? I was just telling you about how it was raining. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Talk about the Sixers game last night, and he's like, literally, so and so did really good. He scored about this many points, and then like fast forward like 4 minutes later, he's like the grave could not hold him, and I was like, what the hell? I'm like mod checking. I'm like, what the hell? You guys see this shit?
Pop, what are we doing here?
I know, relax, bro.
Do you need to talk to someone? We could definitely 100% go find you someone real quick. I promise you.
Oh, like, he talks to people every Sunday. He talks to them.
Oh, God. That's great.
Every Sunday. I saw an old picture of him and my mom, like, on their fridge.
Aww.
And he looks so different than he does now, obviously, because that was like
I was about to say, like,
But, like, I was like, I picked up the picture and I pointed it out to him. I was like, look, Papa, it's Mum. She took a picture with Burt Reynolds. And he was like, that's me. I was like, oh, shit.
He's like, stupid. He can't recognize his Pop-Up.
Well, he doesn't look like he does now in that picture.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny. I was like, he looks like Burt Reynolds. I'm gonna make a joke. I couldn't help myself.
Can you agree to some extent? Because I feel like I need other people. Obviously, like, you're, at least from how you've talked, you don't seem super religious. But can you at least agree with me to some extent? Because I hate when, especially like my sister says it. And I let her say it because, she's faithful and, she's religious. So, like, I can't tell her, don't feel that way. Like, I don't do that because it's wrong. It's not fair. It's not right. But I hate when she goes, God is good. He's always good. And, like, it's not fair when people say, if God was so good, he would help these people. But he, God does things for a reason. I'm like, okay. I don't know what you want me to say in this. Like, she'll use, like, obviously, like, people struggling, or, like, she didn't, like, not cancer, because, cancer is, like, really hard to talk about, but, like, like somebody being poor, or, like, losing their job, or having struggles in their family and stuff like that. She's like, he has a plan. And I made a joke, and I realized I was kind of mean, but I was like, yeah, God's good, especially when he stole, everyone's firstborns that one time. He's really good. It felt mean.
Shot.
When I was like, she was like, Erlene, and I'm like, I'm
He was
sorry.
so good when he flooded the earth.
I was like, listen, I'm not taking away from what you're saying, because genuinely, yes, if you see it that way, then yes, 100%, I could definitely see that point of you saying, oh yeah, hey, God, he does do some great stuff. He does. I can see, like, some arguments of how he can be good, but I'm just saying, he punished a kid by letting him get eaten by a whale. He stole everyone's firstborns because he was upset that his preferred humans were being used as slaves. And then parted the sea, and then let those other humans that he still technically did create die, to a massive, massive tsunami, because, they parted the Red Sea and all that. But, good. He's good. Good. I felt mean, but I was like, let me just ask, because I feel like it wasn't entirely mean, because I was like,
nah,
I need to stop her. She's going off on this huge, great tangent of how amazing he is, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have used, like, some Old Testament stories. Maybe I should use, like, some New Testament, like, the nicer versions of the stuff that happened. But I was like,
history light.
Yeah, I'm like, there's a reason we have the Old Testament,
That's the reason why people call things Old Testament. Like, when they refer to, like, things
the bad stuff,
things that's brutal or fucked up, they're like, damn, that was Old Testament, man. It's like, yeah, if you ever read the Old Testament, there's a fucked up shit that happened in there.
Dude, it was terrible. I'm like, I'm sorry. You can't, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. But, like, he wasn't great. Like, I'm not saying, like, he's not good. You could definitely say he's good. But don't say he's great. Because, you know, like,
he's alright.
He caused the fit. Like, he's again, I get it. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, I'm gonna pick my preferred types of human and just separate the others and then take their children, cause a famine, cause basically disease, and all this just to free some people. I'm not saying that, you know, he still couldn't have, but, you know, like, I feel like I think this could have gone a way different route than, like, us, you know, going to murder and basically genocide. But I'm not you, so...
Yeah.
Definitely. You know what I mean? Like, God is good, but he's not great. Just keep it in mind. Just remember that. Oh, and also, I had to tell her because she was talking about angels, and I remember, and I forgot how I found them. Or like, I forgot how it was that I came across it. But, you know how, like, angels are, like, drawn or shown nowadays? You know, like the person, wings, and all that.
The wings and the halo, yeah.
Yeah. So if you go back, and you can find the pictures, horrifying shit, by the way, like eldritch horrifying. Angels originally, all of them, like from archangels to cherubs, look horrifying. There is one type for like a type of angel, which is why I can believe if we're gonna say, you know, like the whole entire, we're gonna talk about the hieroglyphs and all that, and like, you know how like the Mayans, they left drawn pictures of like the gods or whatever, and like seeing the pictures of how people originally saw angels, I'm like 100% I could believe at least that they would see that as a godly being, because one type of angel is literally just a giant ring with eyeballs all over it, and it has wings. Like no face, no, it's just a giant ring with eyeballs on it and some wings.
So it's
imagine that coming at you.
Yeah.
Like, I agree 100%. I would definitely draw that and be like, hey guys, remember that thing we saw last Sabbath? Yeah. Don't, whatever it said not to do, don't do that because it's gonna kill you. And it's like, I could believe that, you know, the giant ring eyeball thing coming at me because God sent it.
Yeah.
Freaking, you know, I'm like, somebody definitely changed. Like, we consciously as humans decide to change the way angels looked, or God did, you know, decide to do like a do-over and redid his OCs.
He rebranded the angels.
Yeah. He just like, he's like, guys,
they got
come
some
back in. We're gonna
back in the day. They needed a rebrand.
Oh, dude. Let me see if I can find it for you so I can send it to you because it's horrifying.
I believe you. So from what I've learned from growing up going to church is that you're right. Angels were intentionally written as terrifying beings because if you look at like the birth of Jesus, they say the angel appeared before them and everybody was like scared shitless, like they were trembling at the sight of the angel, and it's like not because oh my god this is a holy being, it's because it looked fucking freaky.
Yeah.
And there's like multiple instances of angels appearing before somebody and them being scared, like it says.
Here we go. I found it. Oh god, it's so fucked. Okay, this is from Reddit, but I'm gonna copy it so you can see. I'm gonna send it to you on Discord. But I'm just saying, you're not wrong when you know, like what you just said, because this, bro, oh, what the fuck?
Damn,
this is it's horrifying. I'm like, that came at people. Like, here, let me see. Okay, here's another one. Just. That, like, that's supposed to be, like, God up top. Like, that, he sent that to, like, I 100% at that point, Old Testament, believe it. I believe it. I believe the rings are supposed to be the archangels. I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong. But I'm just saying.
Okay.
like what is it like
got like the head of a lion, head of a cow, head of a bird, head of a man.
Lots of wings and eyeballs. He really couldn't figure anything else out, but whatever.
Yeah. It's very it seems very symbolic in some way.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on why, but
yeah, like
some symbolism to these drawings.
So crazy. Like Gabriel and Michael, they're supposed to be like, I forgot which one it is, but I'm sure somebody that's, knows the Bible, or at least is like religious, knows what I'm talking about. I think it's Michael. But like one of them is like you said, originally like basically like murder and like war. And like he was known as like God's sword. So I was like, damn, okay.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, I can understand it if that's technically, if that's how they originally looked. I can see how I would give up. I would just be like, you know what? Yep. Yeah, it's Michael. He's always drawn with a sword and like armor and whatever. I think all the archangels are, but I believe he's like the main, like the leader or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, he's the one with the flaming sword. Yeah, he's not supposed to be that great. Like he's like good, but he's like if it was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he's like Raphael, but with like Leonardo's whole demeanor. Like he fights like him, but he's got the leader vibe to him still.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, I was like, okay, giant eyeballs and wings coming at me, floating rings. Different headed animal that's made up of wings as well. Like
just eyeballs and wings.
Yeah, like I don't like. It feels like his deviant art stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do if one of those showed up and started talking to me.
Right? I'm like, no wonder they drew these things because they're like, nobody's gonna believe us. We have to leave this somewhere. Let me doodle this giant ring that has wings that's glowing. And I'm like, I agree.
I'm like, you don't look like the Sunday school pictures.
Like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, either we changed it to look, for New Testament, we made them look nicer, or God did definitely do a revamp before he sent them down again for all of us to see, Because I refuse to believe that, like, we didn't change it because we had, like, I feel like we would change it because we have to. Because, like, at that point, who would join? I'm sorry. Like, if you told me this is the angels, this is what they look like. God made them, they protect us, but they also kill us. But these are our saviors and our protectors. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. They could kill me. I don't know if I want to be part of this because I don't know if they'd even let me stay. I don't know if I'd be good enough at some point, just... I'm going to sideline this, but I'll come back. I'll take the pamphlet, though. Your itinerary? I'm going to take that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye, Michael. Don't kill me.
Is your sister religious by choice, or did she grow up going to church?
Well, we all grew up going to church, but she became more religious after she met her husband, my brother-in-law. We were originally, well, I say we still are. To some extent, me and Julia aren't as religious. She doesn't consider herself to be Catholic at all. I only say that we're Catholic because that's the only religion that I know. I don't consider myself religious. But she switched from Catholicism to Christianity because his family is Christian. So yeah. She knows the Catholic side, but she's also started learning and she's more into and she likes Christianity more. So she technically didn't really change much, like just the stories and like how some things are told changes, because, slight difference, but...
Yeah, and things get lost in translation.
Yeah. Which always confuses me because I'm like... Technically, if Christianity's... Well, not technically, it is. Christianity came first. I don't understand how Catholicism came up and, like, is the main known... Like, Christianity, obviously, Catholicism, both known. But, like, Catholicism is, like, the head one because, Rome, the Catholic Church, and, the Pope and all that. And I'm like, I don't...
It's an extension of the religion, yeah.
No, I know, but you know what I mean? Like,
it's
when
just
people
a more popular one. Yeah.
Yeah, like, when people think of religion, they think... And I'm like, you know what? I can see why God maybe might not like Catholics, because I'm pretty sure Catholics, because it's Rome killed Jesus. I could see why he probably wouldn't like Catholics, but I also don't understand like how he could still also accept Catholics. But I'm like, technically we're still worshiping him, you know, if you're Catholic, but I'm not, you know, I don't know the history or whatever, so I can't really speak on it too much.
Well, yeah, 2,000 years ago is after the fall of Rome, like many times over. It's like
a billion times.
yeah. Yes, there's a lot of fucking stuff that happened there, but like somewhere along the lines after Jesus died, like Christianity just fucking got insanely, like it was like Fortnite, like it just got so popular for no reason, and everybody loved it, and then they're just like, we're gonna do it everywhere, and this new continent that we found over there, we're gonna put it over there too, but then it changed. So,
well, I mean,
Catholicism is more popular in like Britain, Ireland, like you said, Italy, like a lot of European countries, Catholicism is way more popular. But now it's like there's like this other branch called Protestant, where you have like your Baptists, your Methodists, your Seventh-day Adventists. A lot of people where they agree on the core values and main things of the book, but they just have their own way of going about it. So the main thing about Seventh-day Adventists is that they believe that when you die, you don't go straight up to heaven like right away. They feel like everybody's in limbo right
purgatory.
now. Purgatory, well, not purgatory, limbo. It's like an in between.
Well, that's the other name for purgatory, because purgatory is similar to that.
So their thing is when you die, an eternity goes by in like a second. So you think you go straight up to heaven, but really an eternity just went by like that. The rapture happened, and then what happens. That's also up for debate.
That's a little confusing, because technically, you're dead, so time isn't like a concept, I guess, for, you know, a corporeal form. But it's also like eternity does go by and you don't realize it. You also don't know when the rapture ever happened, because people still have to wait. You're still, you know, and I get that's why they said eternity happens. So like, makes sense, but also like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I get it though. I know what you mean.
It's under huge debate. I remember my dad once explained to us, he was like somebody said, what's the difference between Methodist and Baptist? And my dad said, the amount of water they use.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
No, I've been to a Baptist. I don't know. I've seen like Methodist church, but I've definitely been in a Baptist church. Bro, oh my God.
If you've ever been to like a straight up like Protestant, or no, what am I saying? No, Pentecostals. Those guys are nuts. Not like nuts in a bad.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
they're not nuts in a bad way. I'm not saying not to insult them. They're just very passionate. Like you ever seen Blues Brothers, where like James Brown is preaching and they're like doing backflips down the aisleway and they're getting really into the music. Like that's what they are. Like it's every fucking Sunday they do that. I don't know how they have the energy. They probably don't do shit all week, and they're just like keeping to themselves. They're like reserving all that energy so that on Sunday they can go and fucking do kickflips over the pews and shit. I don't know how they do it. They're like, yeah, I do it every Sunday for 50 years. I'm like, what the fuck? How?
I don't, honestly, it's an
experience. If you've never done it, even if you're not religious, I recommend everybody goes to a Pentecostal church at least once.
At least just to see, you know, get the idea.
It's an experience.
I will say, and I do feel bad when, so I guess people don't entirely know this, but, like Jehovah's Witness and, you know, other religions that are similar to that technically aren't considered a real religion. It's considered a cult, because it's not, from what I read, I could be wrong, but it's not based or like settled in an actual historical one, I guess, in a way. Like it doesn't have a basis for it. It's kind of just like somebody came up out of nowhere and was like, hey, this is how I'm going to go about stuff, and that's what I'm going to do. Because like they don't celebrate like Christmas and all that, and technically for Christians and Catholics, and even like for Jewish people, they celebrate it to some extent because it's considered a birthday, like the birth of Christ. I don't know about for Jewish people. I don't know Judaism, but you know what I mean. Like, they don't do that. My friend was, her family, and she also did it, was part of Jehovah's Witness. They don't celebrate birthdays. They don't do Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Nah, neither do Muslims.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know for them, like their religion though is not considered a cult because it is based in historical stuff or whatever. Like I said, I forgot what the actual definition of it is. But you could look it up and like you could see, and I was like, I didn't know that.
The thing is, there's no real defining factor between a cult and a religion. They're kind of... Yeah, there is a definition. They kind of fall under the same thing. So like you would ask a Jehovah's Witness, they would say they're a Christian. But they would also say... Other Christians say we don't want nothing to do with them. They're different.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there is a difference. Like, you could still say that you're Christian, but if you practice, I guess, whatever Jehovah's Witness practices, technically you wouldn't be, because Christians, they do celebrate all those important things. They do have Ash Wednesday and all that stuff. They fast and, everything else. Whereas Jehovah's Witness, from as far as I'm aware of, I don't know too much about them, but from what I remember from what my friend told me, they don't do all that stuff. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not, I forgot 100% the definition, but it's not considered a true religion. Is it still a religion? Sure, but that's why they place it under cult. Like Scientology, technically to some people that would be considered their religion. Most people know that it kind of feels more culty. But you believe what you believe, that's good and that's fine. That's 100% on you. If it makes you feel better, it makes you feel better. But, like, definition-wise, it's considered a cult. Not necessarily. But, again, I'd have to triple check on it. But from what I remember reading and all that, it's not considered a true religion. But it is a religion that you can follow and you can practice, and nobody can take that from you. And you're allowed to evoke the rights of that religion against, like, the law and all that. So, like, the way Muslims are allowed to evoke that law and that, right that they have for their practice, they can. Same with Christians, Jehovah's Witness, like, everyone is allowed to, because it's what you believe. You can't take away someone's belief,
I pissed off my Sunday school teacher one time because of this very reason. Because I didn't know what a cult was. I think I was like 11, and we read something that said cult in it, and I was like, "What's a cult?" And then they told me, and I was like, "Oh, kind of like what we're doing now." And then they were like, "No, because what we're doing is the truth."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That sounds kind of culty. I don't know." So it depends
your Sunday school teacher would not like your CC.
She literally
teacher would not like me either, because I questioned my CCD teacher about, well, how do you know God's real? And they're like, because he's everywhere. I'm like, but how do you know? Because, like, he's not, you can't see him. And, like, and I even, like, the way I brought up, like, the, freaking the kid getting eaten by the whale. I was like, he let a kid get eaten by a whale. That's not nice. Why would you do that? That's not, you're not teaching anyone anything. They're like, you just have to trust in him. And I'm like,
I know, their big thing is like, you gotta have faith. You gotta trust in him. You gotta put your whole life and dedicate it to him. And I'm like, didn't the Nazis blindly follow orders too? And look at where that got them.
Yeah. I mean, granted, at the time, I didn't know about Nazis, but it was just like, I was just taught that, like, if you want faith, which is also like trust and respect put in one, it's got to come from something, and you're telling me to trust. Like I said, this is just me personally, not that anybody else. For me, you're telling me to trust in air because it's everywhere. And it's like, yeah, I trust the air because it's everywhere, but that's only because it's proven that it's a thing. You're telling me to just trust, and it's like, he hasn't done anything yet for me, so. And again, you still can't convince me that there's a lesson to be learned when you get eaten by a whale. Like, what are you supposed to learn from that? Like, I promise you, after I came out, I personally would only be traumatized, and I'd have a fear of whales. I'd be afraid of the sea because whales are in the sea. I probably wouldn't have learned a lesson against doing said thing. I probably might do it again. I forgot what it was that he got eaten by a whale for, but. Like,
They put him in a whale because he was complaining to us. He was bitching and crying.
Yeah, I'm still gonna, I still would do that. He's like,
He's like, hey, go to Nineveh and set the guy straight. And he's just like, I don't wanna. then he's like, oh, fine, sit in this whale and think about it. And he's just like, all right.
Yeah, fine. I'm like,
Nineveh doesn't sound as bad as this whale right now. It's kind of warm in here. It smells.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, make it make sense. Like, at the end of the day, I'm still a kid. You can't tell me not to complain. If my feet hurt, my feet hurt. If I'm hungry, I'm hungry. You're gonna hear it. That's the whole entire point of complaining, to complain so people can hear what it is that's bothering you. You let a whale eat me. A whale. Like, you might as well just kill me, but you didn't.
The Bible doesn't explicitly say it's a whale, but they said it was a large fish, a very big fish.
The largest fish is not going to be able to eat you, so that's why people say whale.
Yeah.
Which, still, therein, I still believe Moby Dick is based off of that story because it's the biggest fish that they could think of at the time.
I don't know. I think that story predates Moby Dick.
No, it does. No, I'm saying Moby Dick got it from, like, that story, like, inspiration.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
It's like the big, like, I don't know, like, there's just one random freaking giant whale who's pissed at humans. I'm like, it has to be that whale. That whale ate a kid for no freaking reason. I don't care that you said that God sent him. That whale still had to be like, yes, I'm going to listen to your will, God, and did it. So that whale has it out for humans. I'm sorry. Like... It feels like a grudge.
Huh.
Just saying. Is it the same whale? I don't know. Is it the same large fish? I don't know. But, you know, same way we say it's a apple when it's still written as fruit.
Yeah.
And it came from a tree, so, like, there aren't too many... Well, there are a lot. But, like, there aren't too many fruits that you could just sit there right off the bat and just eat right away like that easily. Like, oranges grow off trees, but you gotta peel it. They took a bite out of it real quick. A banana, you still gotta peel. Like, most things you have to peel. Like, mango trees, you still gotta peel a mango. You can't just bite into it. So the only fruit that, as far as I'm aware of, I don't know fruit too well, that you could just eat right off the tree would be an apple. So it makes sense, but I'm just saying it could be any fruit. Maybe it's a grapefruit. I don't know. And who leaves a fruit? Like, you just, out of all the fruits, you just put this random fruit right in the center where they live?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's just a nitpicky thing I have, but that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not very religious at all.
Yeah.
I say not very. I wouldn't say I'm religious at all. I even after going to church for like 20 years of my life, couldn't buy into it.
I couldn't either.
Like, when I was a kid, it was just something that you did. Okay, it's like you go to school, you have Saturday off, and then you go to church all day Sunday.
Bro, I hated when they sit there and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you have to wear your Sunday best." I am pretty sure that if God doesn't mind me wearing my PJs to pray to him at night, he wouldn't care that I walked into his home in my PJs either, because I talked to him in my home, okay? It's fine. He doesn't mind. Why do I gotta come in my Sunday best? Like, there's no party, there's no food, except like the bread, but you can't eat the bread unless you've been, communed. You can't drink the wine if you haven't been communed. So, like, what feast? Why am I getting, like, people have explained it to me, but I'm still just like, I'm sorry. If God doesn't care how I look every other day of the week, he'll still be fine if I walk in PJs on a Sunday. I'm not wrong. You cannot tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know. I never thought that. I don't. I think for a long time I've just been like inherently just like nihilistic.
Wow.
So like even like as a teenager, like I find religion just like a coping mechanism that humans for thousands of years have just used as like a way to cope with the fact that they're gonna die. like everybody's gonna die. Like that's like the borderline, like that's gonna happen no matter what. And people are scared of that, so they're just like, no, I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna die, but then my spirit is gonna go. And I'm just like, I think that's copium. I don't know.
Really?
I still believe that.
It's fine. Yeah, no, it's fine. You believe what you believe. Nobody could take that from you. Except for, like, the Inquisition. But,
Inquisition?
Yeah.
What's the Inquisition?
Religious knights who would basically do what happened in Salem, but, like, for any reason that they deemed worth sinning you for.
In Salem?
No, you know how, like, people were just, like, trying any other person left and right just for, like, the simplest, like, she
like the
made
witch hunts.
butter, but like that. Like, she made butter, but she did it with her left hand.
Oh, she's
and they would,
left-handed.
and then the Inquisition could come and just kill you for that because they're
She's
allowed
a witch.
to. Yeah. But, like, they did that everywhere and for the church, so they were the church's own knights. Like, the church had knights, and they would go and, cross-check the information happening and be like, well, we'll decide if you're worthy of being saved or sinned. Well, or if you're a sinner. And, like,
she's a witch. Thing. She jerked me off with her left hand and not her right like she usually does. I mean, yeah, she's a witch.
She let me in the back door. Like, bro, relax, okay? It's not that serious. But anyways, yeah, no, it was like, they would call them, and they would come, and I didn't read too much about them. I only learned about them because I had, like, a brief thing in history class about it. But, like, basically, they were just knights for the church, and the church could use them in any way they deemed fit, and they could respond to almost in any call that, the church, like I said, deemed. So, like, if the church was like, yeah, we heard that there was this doctor who is studying with herbs. Not even, like, normal herbs. They're, like, mixing stuff together. Sounds like Satan. Go over there, check it out. If they're wrong, and they'll be like, I'll leave the decision up to you. If you feel that it's wrong, kill them. And they'd go, and they'd be like, it feels wrong, it looks wrong, you're dead, die, bam, there you go. Castlevania type, like the way the show did it, like, just walked in, they were like, oh, glass, vials, liquids, disgusting, kill her. And, like, you're just dead because they chose it. That's what they said. Really crazy. I don't know, like, that was, like, at, like, the height of them having power, and, like, there was other stuff, I guess, but that's what I'm saying. The angels are scary. The church had a lot of power.
Yeah.
A ring of death. Literally. I don't know how we got into religion from Johnny Depp, but yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I'm pretty sure it's my fault.
No, I brought up my pop-up. I think that's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how that came to be.
Oh, well, because you said that he always brings up religion. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy, though. Oh.
What up?
I guess this is, like, technically not, really having to do with religion. It doesn't. But did you see that SCP is supposed to get, like, a thing or something like that?
Supposed to get a thing?
Like a new game or something like that?
I did not see that.
I saw a thing about it, but I could be wrong. I forgot what it was called. Recontainment. That's what it's called.
Recontainment.
Yeah, so, like, not recontainment. Recontainment. It's supposed to release. It says 2022. It's in early access. It still looks pretty similar to, like, how the original one looks. It's just got, like, nicer looking graphics, but it's still got, like, pixelated enemies and whatever. Like, they're still blocky.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be, like, all the same stuff, just, like, updated and, like, some newer stories and all that. With, like, new game modes that they're gonna add, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I saw it pop up out of nowhere. I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. I was like, I never played SCP, but I saw like a little thing for it pop up, and I was like, damn, cool. Okay, can't wait to watch people play it.
I used to watch YouTubers play it all the time. I think I watched Breakout a long time ago.
Breakout. Do I know Breakout?
I think that was the OG one, or just Containment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Containment was the first one. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know them, but I do. I just wanted to bring it up because I was like, oh, maybe you do know. I was like, that's why I said it. Like, it has nothing to do with religion, but like, I was just thinking about like, you know, scary stuff. I was like, you know,
another horror game coming.
Yeah, I guess it counts as horror. Does it? I mean,
it is horror.
I don't play it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I never played it, so.
Did you hear anything else on that Outlast multiplayer game?
Nothing recently, but I also haven't checked their Steam page to see if they posted anything to like, or like the
like a release date or another trailer or something.
No, the last time I heard anything for like a release date or about a release date was they were hopefully trying to get it out this year, but they're not sure anymore if that's a possibility simply because they're still working on it. So that's why it says like there's no date, like, you know, coming soon basically, or TBA. You're really just like, you know, depends on how much I guess they're able to get done or like put together. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be surprised because, you know, like it said, like they're still trying to write it, and I can see how it could be difficult as a solo story that you can that you can also play with friends and up to 4 people at that. So like the maps should be to some extent a pretty decent size if you got 4 people running around. The enemies have to be pretty well coded to deal with 4 people, like, you know, up to 4 people, let alone just one. And then you're also trying to solve weird puzzles, and the puzzles got to be interesting enough that 4 people could solve it, or like need to solve it as 4 people and whatnot. So I can understand why it might take a while.
Yeah.
I was still hoping that they would be able to get it out before then, but it's okay if they can't.
All right.
Yeah. They did say, the one thing I do know is that you're running from area to area. So, like, you kind of have to go, I think, I could be wrong. They probably could change this. Like, unlocking, kind of like, you know, like in COD Zombies where, like, you have to, like, have enough money to unlock it. It's kind of like that. Like, you have to solve the stuff to unlock a whole entire new area, but you're going to backtrack a lot. So you could end up going back to the area you first started in to just go to a different place that you need to get to or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But that's why I said, like, the map has to be pretty big if, you know, you have 4 people running around backtracking for you.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come out and we'll play it. It'll be fun.
I do know that the day before it comes out, June 21st, so I'm probably gonna get that.
Oh. Remember you were telling me about that.
Yeah, the zombie version of The Division.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it comes out this year in June.
Soon.
Yeah, like, literally, technically.
A couple months?
Yeah, almost like a month or something. A month and a couple days away. Or like maybe a month and a half, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Ow. Bitch.
Bitch.
Oh! I also, just because I don't know if you did see it, I saw The Batman.
Did you? So I watched like 2 hours of it.
It is, well, it's great,
I fell asleep towards the end.
Well, it is a 3-hour movie, so I can get it.
So I know the general gist of it. So go ahead.
Spoiler alert.
No, I wanted to know if you also saw it. I didn't know if you saw it.
I did. Oh, I watched most of it.
How'd you like most of it?
It was cool. I think there's potential for that series to keep going with all the same casting. I think Zoe Kravitz is fucking hot as shit.
Wow.
I think surprisingly Robert Pattinson was a better Batman than I thought he was going to be.
Same. Agreed. I agree with that.
He was a much better Batman than I was expecting. I think it's because I was expecting it to be bad. Is why I was surprised that it was good. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you got he's actors, professional. They're like, if you have a good director behind you, you can't just go in there and just scum it up, and then they'll be like, all right, we'll send it. If you have a good director, you're gonna do a take that's goofy, and they're gonna be like, no, more like Bruce Wayne. If you gotta think like Batman.
Yeah.
Like they're really gonna beat it into you. Like I remember watching like an interview with Jamie Foxx, and he was talking about when he was doing. You ever seen Django Unchained? Yeah. He was talking about when he was his first day on set, and he was like trying to do the character and get it down, and it was like when he was just getting freed or like getting rescued by that German guy, and he was like talking in like a low tone voice, and he was like being sarcastic, and they're just like, he said Quentin Tarantino changed the whole fucking like mood of the set, because like the first take he was like cut, and he was like, what? I thought that was good, and he was like, you don't understand it. You're not the hero yet. You're still just a fucking slave. You don't get it. Yeah. And he was like, oh god. And he was like, he said it came off as condescending at first, but then he really thought about it, and he was like, oh wait, I get what he's trying to say. The story, the way it goes, yeah, he's right.
I will say the one thing I was really confused about, and like it threw me off a lot, was the fact that everyone had a Batman voice. It was I was just like, why is everyone speaking so gruff and deep? Like they spoke as if they were pulling off a Batman to me, and I was like, why? Why? Batman is the only one who's supposed to sound like Batman. Like there's a reason he sounds like that. Yeah. But other than that, it was good. It was done really well. Although, like, thinking back on it, the story is pretty average. It wasn't a fantastic but it was written, story. Yeah, it was written in a way that felt fresh, but it was still like, it didn't.
Yeah, I think given the bad guys that were put into this story, it was kind of like, kind of weird. Like, people weren't really digging the whole setup. It wasn't bad, though. They didn't do a bad job executing it. I think it was just because of that specific character that they tried to use. Yeah. Or set up with the story, if that makes sense. Otherwise, the whole movie was filmed great. The action sequences, like 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm.
It was good. It was filmed well, yeah.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz could have fucked it all up, and I still wouldn't have cared. I would have looked at her the whole time.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at anybody like that, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sheesh. I will say her character was kind of average. Definitely felt very average. Yeah. At least for like a cat, she was. I mean, I get why. She was mostly, unfortunately,
she was kind of a side character, yeah.
Yeah, she was used as the romance thing. Kind of bothered me, but
yeah. She had her own. She had her own plot, though. For the most part.
She did.
Like she was like, "You have your reasons.
I have mine,
Batman, and I have mine." Yeah. It was good. I'll have to watch the last 45 minutes of it.
Yeah, It's so long.
Yeah, it was real. That's why I fell asleep. I was expecting like a hour and a half, maybe 2 hour movie. That shit was fucking 3 hours.
It was like a freaking Lord of the Rings movie. But at least, like, I don't know. I feel weird saying that, but I was like, at least Lord of the Rings felt paced out more. I mean, probably because obviously it's based on the book, so like the book is paced better. It's just kind of written. The one thing I did like was the fact that they started it outside of like an origin. It was like something that just came up, but it wasn't like anything that, you know, like how they do with Spider-Man or like, yeah, with Batman or Superman, where like it's a retelling of the same, you know, stupid stuff. And it's like, no, we're going to start 2 years into his career as Batman, but you still get to hear about, you know, what happened because, you know, it's Batman. So it's like, cool. Got it. Nice. Thanks. Moved on. Oh, my eye.
Sorry. I'm back. All right.
Yeah.
I couldn't hold in my pee any longer.
Jesus. Where did you pee?
I ran to the bathroom.
Oh. Where the heck is your bathroom that you're that fast?
It's literally right down the hall.
Damn.
My place isn't that big.
Well, I'm not saying it has to be big. I'm just, you know, surprised.
I had my headset on so I could hear you the whole time.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn. Okay.
But yeah, Batman was good. Oh, I read something interesting this week.
What?
So I was flicking through Reddit casually during lunchtime on Monday, I think, as I do, and I saw this post come up about it had a dozen pictures on it, and it was like labeled "not safe for work," by the way. And it was like a bunch of dead bodies on the top of Mount Everest, and people said that they use the dead bodies as like trail markers so that people know the path to go up the mountain. And somebody in the comments pointed out, like somewhere way down in the threads, that one of the bodies belonged to this guy named George Mallory, who was an explorer in the 1920s. Or an expeditionist is what they called him, not explorer, expeditionist.
Yeah.
And so, through further investigation and links that were linked, I found out that in, 1924, him and his other partner had gone on a couple of expeditions trying to go up Mount Everest and trying to find the best path to go up there. And they said not too far from the summit, about 75 years later after his disappearance in Mount Everest. So he went on an expedition in the 20s and was never seen again. Or his partner were never seen again.
Yes.
Fast forward to 1999, a couple of Everest explorers went up to Everest and they found, you know, like something peeking out of the snow real good. And they were like, what is that? So they undid it and they were like, whoa, it's a really old dead body. And then they were like trying to like
really old dead body.
Yeah, it was like frozen to death. Because that's what happens up there. People go up there to be like, I'm gonna climb Mount Everest, and then they freeze to death and die.
Scary.
But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, that's the risk you're taking, right? You're either gonna make it or you're not.
Ugh.
But
jeez.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, it always, like, anytime I hear like, oh, I found a dead body, I was like, I know people are like just, you know, retelling it, but it just sounds weird. Like, you just found, you know what I mean? Like, you found a dead body.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm just like, wow, okay, that's it, okay. Like, I feel like you should be more traumatized, no?
Well, I mean, I've never found a dead body. The only dead bodies I've ever
seen... Freaking not you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, if you're climbing Mount Everest, like, you gotta... I don't want to say get used... You never get used to it, but it's just like, oh yeah, there's another person that didn't make it. Moment of silence for them.
Yeah.
Prages in chat. But, yeah, I guess it happens often enough that they just throw them to the side. Because, like, you can't really take the remains back down with you. You'd be risking your own life at that point and energy that you need to climb back down the mountain. Trying to carry someone's remains.
That's also got to be... So I feel like that's also traumatizing.
Yeah, so Mount Everest is just littered with dead bodies right now.
Jeez.
Yeah. But anyway, in 99, these other expeditionists that were climbing Mount Everest, they found this body and they were digging through it, and then they found on the tag of the back of the guy's shirt, it said George Mallory, and they were like, holy fuck! They were freaking out. They were like, this is George Mallory's fucking body! And then they were digging through it even more after that because they found out, because he's a famous expeditionist. It was like, it was him and a group of like other British guys. They were like the first ones to try to go all the way to the summit of Mount Everest back in the 1920s.
Yeah.
And he said some of them like didn't go all the way up, but like they said like George and his partner were determined to get to the very top of it. And like nowadays it's like unsafe to go up there for the normal person that is not like equipped with like oxygen tanks and enough oxygen reserve to make it to the top. But like they didn't have that back then. They were just bare boning it go up. But yeah, so they found his body.
There's so much training you have to do for that, and I like anytime I hear about like people like, you know, obviously not making it on Everest, I'm like, don't tell me you want to climb Everest. No offense to, you know, obviously like it's unfortunate people lost their lives, but I'm like, those people train for like years.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, like anything could happen, and I feel like nobody's ever prepared for like the, you know, possibility of that happening to you.
Yeah, you just get unlucky. But yeah, they found him like a couple hundred feet from the summit, or maybe like a couple miles. I can't remember. He wasn't far from the very top. But the discovery of his body brings up a lot of theories. So the first official climb to the top of Mount Everest wasn't until like 20 years after they disappeared. So there's a lot of question whether his dead body was like he died on his ascent or descent to the top. So they're like, was George Mallory one of the first guys to ever get up to Everest, and we just didn't know it until just now?
Ooh.
Like they just thought they disappeared and got buried in snow, which they did. They're still looking for his partner. I mean, this was like what year is it? 23 years ago.
Jesus.
That they found his dead body, and they're still looking for his partners because they speculated that they had a camera with them because there are pictures of them before they went up. And so they're like,
that's confusing.
Huh?
They're like, that's so confusing because like I feel like aren't they supposed to like aren't you supposed to bring like something that marks like your trail or like the route you went?
Ideally, but it's snowing there all the time, so it probably gets buried.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with a big ass mountain like that, there's a lot of snow on it. But yeah, so they're still looking for his partner's remains because they think he's the one with the camera on him, And if they can even just like, you know, preserve just a little bit of the film if it's still in there, they can figure out and see if there's pictures of them on the top.
Oh.
And they can confirm or deny whether that they were the first or not.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to find the partner's remains, because finding George Mallory's remains just brings up a lot of questions. There wasn't much evidence other than that he was close.
Yeah. That'd be a good story to like cover. Like doing the research and all that. I mean, although like it's hard to, you know, clearly figure out what exactly happened since it's been so long, but
it's been so long, and those conditions up there are rough as it is, let alone to lead an investigation up there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, that was like a little rabbit hole that I found myself in this week.
Interesting.
A simple Reddit post of like, oh shit, people die all the time on Mount Everest, and then they were like, fun fact, in case you didn't know who the second to last body was in that collage of pictures, that was so-and-so, George Mallory, who disappeared in 1924. I was like, you don't say. So I clicked on the Wikipedia page and I read about it, and I was like, holy shit.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Oh my god. Wait, is there any family to claim him?
He had a wife. I don't know if he had any kids, but his wife died like 20 years after he disappeared, like in the 40s or some shit.
Oh, damn. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, like not having anybody to. Oh.
Yeah, he was married.
Figure it out.
Actually, he did have kids. He had like 3 kids. Yeah, John Mallory. Yeah, he had a couple of kids. Holy fuck. One of them is still alive.
They are? Wow, how old are they?
One of them. Oh, damn. One of them died in the 50s.
Oof.
Shit. It says this is a hospital. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. Married in England. Died in 2001. One of his kids is still alive. John Mallory. He's 101 years old.
Holy crap, 101?
Yeah.
Jesus. Imagine living for 100 years.
Fucking A. I wonder if anybody interviewed this guy. I don't know. That's another rabbit hole I'll have to look down. But yeah, some interesting stuff in history.
Oof. I wonder, like, how they, like, do they put up, like, little signs about, you know, people that are obviously, that were missing?
Back then, I don't know. I mean, if you go missing on Everest, it's kind of safe to assume what happened to you. There's no, oh, maybe he'll come back, like, if it's been, like, hours or days and you haven't seen him.
Yeah.
It's safe to assume what happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad, but, you know, I don't know, the George Mallory thing, I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's...
I can't believe one of his kids is still fucking alive.
I could never imagine, like, I would definitely give myself a DNR. I'd be like, bro, I don't think I'd ever want to live to be 101. Like, if I reach 100, let me go.
They're 101 like, happy years, then I don't mind, but...
Yeah. No, but I was just saying, like, I'm already 100. I probably can't do much in the ways of living, and, like, just let me go. If something happens, don't fight it. Let me go.
Yeah. Yeah, he was 4 when his dad disappeared.
Damn. I really hope that, like, I mean, you know, either way to go probably sucks, but, like, if he was suspiciously killed, I hope it was quick, because freezing to death while also, like, I don't know, bleeding out or something is terrible.
It was probably not quick. It was probably very painful.
Yeah. No, but you know what I mean,
Yeah, freezing to death would not be my preferred way to go out.
I don't think anybody is, yeah. That's like, it reminds me of, like, drowning. Like, I feel like those two are, like, the worst ways to go.
Yeah.
Because, like, you feel yourself. I mean, I guess also, like, you know, drowning, a fire,
sucks.
But
burning alive probably sucks.
But, like, the thing with, like, burning alive is that, like, you know, every single one of your nerves is going off because obviously you're in pain and, like, there's a lot of going on that, like, you can actually die or even pass out from the pain. So you can technically also, like, die without you having to deal with too much. Whereas, like, when you freeze to death, you still feel it. Like, you just have to wait for, like, your body to give out. Whereas, like, at least, like, you know, like I said, like, you know, if you're on fire, technically, you could just hopefully hope that your body passes out and you don't have to, you know, be awake anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And drowning is just like a whole bunch of that's a big no-no to me. I'm like, I don't want to feel my lungs burst. I'd rather not.
Yeah, that does not sound pleasant. Trying to think. Yeah, I feel like most people would just want to die in their sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind not dying in my sleep. I don't mind, like, I don't know, I don't know. I just do die, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Like, just drop dead somewhere, like in a wall.
Yeah, I would just prefer it, like, if it's gonna be painful, the least painful way possible, you know? Like, just not.
I feel like the least painful death.
Yeah.
And even then, it's still painful because you're dying. Would be a heart attack, like a quick, insta heart attack.
Yeah.
Like, just like, Gah! And then you just fall over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times, I didn't know this. I watched this video of this guy. He was what do they call them? The guys that work with dead bodies for funerals. What are they called?
Morticians.
Morticians. Yeah, I was watching this video on this guy that's a mortician, and he said he was answering questions for people that had questions for morticians, like weird questions. And one of them was like, it was like, I went to my grandma's funeral and her nose looked all weird or something when I saw her in the casket. Is that normal? Mm-hmm. Does something happen to your nose cartilage when you die? And he was like, no. He's like, there's lots of things we do to try and make it look as close to how they originally looked in the first place. But like sometimes if people die of heart attacks, they fall flat on their face after they die.
Yeah, breaks it.
And it just fucking breaks their nose. And like, there's only so much like stuffing or like acrylic and stuff that you can do to it to make it look as normal as possible. But it's still a broken nose at the end of the day.
That sucks. Like I'm not obviously, you know, it's a heart attack, so like sometimes you can survive, sometimes you can't. But I feel bad for like people that do survive and then they wake up in the hospital with a broken nose because they not accidentally, but like they fell on their face. You know what I mean? Like, that's gotta suck. Like, your face probably hurts. I feel so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like, you know, that's rough. That's the rough part.
Yeah. I know my great grandfather, he died of a heart attack. Which is fucked up because he spent like 10 years battling cancer. Just for him to die of a heart attack anyway.
I feel like heart attacks. Okay, so, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but apparently, and like obviously it's something to joke about. It's a heart attack, so you could die from it. But, and I was shocked to find this information. I never like double checked it, but apparently, period pains are at a pain level of having a heart attack.
Really?
Yeah. And that kind of upset me because I'm like, so you're telling me I've been sitting here most of my grown life dealing with a heart attack for like 7 days? And people keep telling women to relax? I'm like, I'm sorry, no, I refuse to believe that. I need to, that's why I said like I never end up double checking it, so I should double check it. But I saw it going around on TikTok, so that's why I had to say it, and I was like, if that's true, no offense to like obviously people who died from a heart attack, but that shit's not that bad. Like, it's bad. Trust me, the pain's annoying, but like the fact that, you know, like we deal with it every month for, you know, 5 to 7 days, obviously it's my heart. It's totally different from like the actual, you know, the heart's and muscles. So like a lot of serious things can happen after having a heart attack, but I meant pain wise, I think I'd be okay. Or I might not even know I'm having a heart attack because then I know what kind of pain I'm feeling. If that's the kind of pain I've felt most of my grown adult life, you know? I can't be too upset about it at that point. I would have to only be upset about the fact that I might not know that I am having one because of that. Other than that, you know.
Yeah. I don't know.
It does suck. It does suck.
People's like pain tolerances are different though. Like some people's periods might not be as bad as other people's periods.
Yeah.
And also there's a myth going around too of like getting kicked in the nuts as a guy is like the same kind of pain.
Yeah.
As giving birth or something, and there's no real like way to tell that because people's pain tolerances are different, and you know,
it's not like a easy thing to just.
It's not something you can measure, so it's just like word of mouth. Like, oh, this hurts just as much as this, and then they're just like, no, it doesn't. Mine is way worse. Like, you know, it's just all talk.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Jeez.
So maybe, who knows? Can't really ask some. I mean, there probably are people that survive a heart attack.
Yeah, people have survived them. That's why they have people that I don't know if you've seen it, but like people that have like their facial muscles on like the left side tend to sag.
Isn't that from
they
a
have
stroke?
like, well, you can also get it from a heart attack.
Oh.
A heart attack and a stroke can aren't exactly similar, but that can happen depending on how severe it is. I'm not saying that like it's not true. I just remember it's a hearing. I heard it. Could be wrong, but I heard it. That can happen. But I know that like especially from a heart attack, like you're severely weakened from it. Like you're more susceptible to it's so stupid. To getting another heart attack just as easily or quicker than anything, which bothered me because I'm like, so you're telling me if I not accidentally get a heart attack, you get a heart attack. If I had a heart attack, you're telling me that I could accidentally maybe give myself another one, not on purpose, but just because I already had one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd imagine like maybe women who get like really really bad periods and then they have a heart attack, they won't know they're having a heart attack because they might be the same pain level.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. I'm like,
they're like, oh, I'm having a period in my chest. Oh god.
Yeah, like no ma'am, no. There have been cases where apparently people have had kind of like with your appendix, I don't know how with the heart, but like because of their pain level, they've had heart attacks and they just didn't know, so they never went. So when they, I guess, finally went because they were finally having side effects from it and just still going about their daily life, they found out and it was like, oh yeah, you had something serious happen to you. Somehow you survived it, but glad you finally came in. Yeah. Like, imagine just walking around having a heart attack. You just didn't know because your pain level.
Yeah.
Terrible. I'd be very upset. Be like, I'm sorry, excuse me, what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'd be like, fight me.
Fight me.
Well, I mean, I have to fight myself,
Yeah, I don't know. Heart attacks. We're kind of running out of time.
Got 3 minutes left.
Yeah, and we didn't get into all the topics, but we talked for a long time. That's fine.
Yeah, not a lot of random stuff. I'm sorry. I know you said you had stuff that you wanted to talk about.
Nah, it's fine. Didn't take it off. I like it when we diverge away from the topics.
Okay, because it was really random. I was like, man, I feel bad now.
Nah, it's fine. Plus, the stuff we talked about was interesting. It's all right. Yeah, I was just looking. So, stuff I had on the list was Twitch reportedly is considering cutting streamer pay.
Really? Why?
It's just stuff they're talking about right now. It says, hold on. The Bloomberg said that Twitch is considering changing its partner program. Currently discussed ideas not finalized. Incentive for more ads. New revenue split, 70% to 50%. New tier system, no more exclusivity. Changes could be implemented this summer, according to the Bloomberg.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
don't doubt it.
I wonder what I don't know, I guess caused that.
Greed. I don't know. People have been getting on. I don't know if you saw that stupid ass fucking video that Game Theory made about how Twitch streamers and Twitch itself is irresponsible for content creators doing what they do on there. How dare they watch TV shows and allow partners to do that? That's irresponsible. It's streaming is a way different culture than doing YouTube videos. I don't think he really understands.
I think he also does. He also streams.
He live streams on YouTube, but it's different than Twitch over there.
Well, yeah, but it's still streaming, though.
Yeah. Well, he's just like, I'm sick of people going on stream and just watching videos. And I remember watching Hassan watch that video and reacting to it, and he was just dude, people don't watch me just to watch me watch something else. They're watching me so that I can add extra commentary and more insightful input to what they're already looking at. That's why people watch React content.
Yeah, well, that's why they're watching the commentary on it. They probably already know what's happening, and they just want to know his opinion.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. And so he just, I don't know. It just seemed like the whole you ever see that Simpsons meme where it's old man yells at cloud? That's just what it seemed like that whole video was. He was just pissed off that people on Twitch were getting away with stuff that you could never get away with on YouTube, and it's not fair. And then he's just wagging his finger at Twitch as a company as if he's the all-seeing and all-knowing right or wrong guy for everything.
Yeah.
It's just he's just shame on you, Twitch. You should know better than to train your content creators to be like this. It's well, who the fuck are you, Mr. I Know Everything? I think Twitch
Mr. I Know Everything.
Yeah, fuck out of here. And his research was poorly done. Like he was saying things.
Really?
Yeah, he was saying things that weren't even true on there, and just other stuff. It was super weird video.
Oof.
I was just like, what the fuck? I thought he was like a great content creator. Now I'm just like, what the fuck's up with that video, bro?
Yeah, that could definitely throw off a lot of your viewers.
Yeah.
Maybe not get rid of them entirely, but, you know.
Yeah.
That was probably not the best way to go about it.
No, not really.
Yeah. Sadly.
It's alright, though.
Damn.
I think that's a podcast right there.
Yeah.
Alright. You got anything to say to the people before we end it?
Make sure you eat if you need to eat.
What would you recommend they eat, Erlyn?
I mean, anything that you're craving. If you don't know what to crave, then just snack. Whether it be a thing of crackers or a thing of chips, as long as you get something in you. Maybe you want fruit. Eat some fruit. I don't care. Just eat something.
I started getting these like crackers with like almond butter between them. Really good. I've been snacking on them at work.
And you like them?
I love them. I used to get like these like granola bars. They were like the Nutri-Grain shits.
Yeah.
And I would just pack them in my lunchbox and just I would pack 2. And then I got these and I'm like, oh, these are delicious, because they were out of the stuff that I usually get. So I was just like, let me get these fucking things, and then I just pulled it off the shelf. And then I ate them one day and I was like, holy fuck, these are good.
Wow. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I'm getting these from now on.
I like me some cheese and crackers.
Yeah, they were Nature Valley biscuit almond butter. Biscuits with almond butter, yeah.
That sounds nice. I didn't realize how good almond butter actually is, but it's nice.
Almond butter is banging. But yeah. I hope everybody has a good rest of their week until the next podcast. But we will see you until then.
Bye-bye.
Stay classy, internet.